This next group was formed in 1990 by the amalgamation of two clubs. These days, the Awamutu Rugby Sports and Recreation Club is at the heart of its community. Please give a warm welcome to this group representing Waipa District.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim Milcrease, Mayor of Waipa District Council. I'm proud to be here today representing our district and supporting this fantastic club. The Awamutu Rugby Sports and Recreation Club determined that a project should be launched to rebuild the old grandstand at Albert Park, to increase the range of sport and recreation facilities available to our community. The executive of the Awamutu Sports set up a working group to determine the viability of an indoor centre project. It was then determined that a specific trust be established to manage the project and work with council and funders. After many years of meetings, planning, fundraising and eventually building the new grandstand, an indoor centre was completed at a cost of $2.3 million. This is just one example of the club, volunteers and community working together to make a difference in our district. I would like to introduce you to Stuart Gudsell and Peter Arndell of the Awamutu Rugby Sports and Recreation Club to present more information about this great organisation.
Thank you, Jim. Our club has moved from a solely rugby club to the structure of today of a multi-user, multi-code facility. The club manages the buildings, the infrastructure on site and maintains and manages them to the best of the interest of the community and the member codes. Each code still administers its own sport through its own volunteers and has voting rights under the Constitution at our AGM, where we have an elected board. We now have 13 different sports and recreation entities that come under the banner of Awamutu Sports, and here is our story.
Kia ora koutou, my name's Joe Sprangers. My role at the club is as a board member. I'm a past president and I work with the Grandstand Community Trust, which is part of our indoor centre that the club runs. Awamutu Sports used to be United and Old Boys Rugby clubs that combined some 25 years ago to form TA Sports Club, and it was a little bit loose in terms of how it was done. The organisation struggled financially and was on the brink of bankruptcy. From there, we developed a business model that we felt would work. We centralised the operations into the club. We began to hire professional staff to run the organisation, and from there, the club evolved to where it is now.
We see Awamutu Rugby and Sports as a real benchmark around best practice in terms of the development of community sport partnerships. Key principles are focused around growth, around engagement, around leadership, and also around sporting offering. And I actually think the funders see this as a better, smarter way of engagement in terms of their partnership with organisations, because it's almost like a one-stop shop in terms of what Awamutu Rugby and Sport are doing. It's a great model.
Have a good ride, keep safe, look after each other. We'll see you all at the finish. Off you go.
My name's Melinda Loader. I'm Secretary of Awamutu Sports Cycling Club and have been for the last 11 or 12 years. I mean, I'm really proud of our club because we are one of the biggest in New Zealand and really well known as well. So people know, go to TA, you're going to get good quality racing, it's really well organised, people are friendly. We have 2 summer series throughout the year, so there's 20 races, one before Christmas, one after. We have 10 winter series races, and that's around the Awamutu and Cambridge district. Since the Advantage Rome's opened, our membership has absolutely skyrocketed because people know that TA is a really good club to join. We've been really fortunate that under the Awamutu Sports umbrella, we've got Touch Rugby, and they've helped us out with marshalling. They're currently doing it at the moment, which is fantastic because our members want to race, they don't want to marshal, but Touch Rugby have been fantastic helping us out that way. And I guess that's an example of different sports under the Awamutu Sports umbrella, just helping each other out.
Simple drive, boys. Just the basics. In yards. At Awamutu Sports, I'm involved with the Firehawks Rugby League Club. So I coach the senior team, coordinate all our junior teams, involved with the committee. I'm also involved with touch, so I referee touch rugby, been refereeing here since 1988. I'm presently the manager of the Kaingaroha Community House. We provide budgeting, counselling, family support work. Because a lot of people are involved in sports, gives me another opportunity to work with families, not just in sporting, but in other areas that affect their life.
The next stages for development here would be around what we can do with the facility, whether we look at a turf base that we put down, whether we look at a hockey facility, whether we look at another covered outdoor facility. All these things are decisions we're going to have to make as we identify what our community wants and how we can best meet that need.
Thank you. We have an amazing community in Te Awamutu and the wider Waipa region. The people and the organisations are friendly and accommodating, but we're not just involved in sport, and we deal with a wide range of organisations, like the Corrections Department supplying community probation workers, anti-domestic violence groups, helping families, right through to companies like Fonterra doing their farming presentations, and New Zealand Blood running their 2-day blood clinic drive out of the club rooms. But without the valuable role of the volunteer, it'd be impossible for clubs like ours to exist. And we're fortunate, as our volunteer numbers are large, and with 13 entities, we have around 250 volunteers helping our 3,500 members. And our volunteers take on a number of roles, from coaches, referees, managers, board members, committee members, and parent helpers. And the functions they cover are things like administration duties, working bees, fundraising, stock takes and transportation. And we estimate that our volunteer base contributes up to 7,500 hours a month, and that being over 90,000 hours a year. And the value of these services equates to well over $1 million a year, which is quite staggering. And I'd like to finish by acknowledging our volunteers for their dedication and commitment. And thank you so much, and it is appreciated, and they're the reason why we're here today. Thank you.